Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to mate with two bishops and a king versus the enemy king. Normally, I would start by bringing the king out, but since the enemy king is already in the corner of the board, we'll start by bringing out a bishop. Bishop d3 automatically cuts off the 8-7 square, leaving two replies for the king. Not bad. King moved to g7. How can we cut his replies a little bit more? It's not hard to see that if we bring the other bishop over to g5, that the king is stuck in that corner of the board. We'll go ahead and make that move. Bishop g5. King moves to f7. Let's restrict the king a little bit more, shall we? If we had our bishop on f5, the king is still trapped in that corner. So we'll go ahead and move that bishop to f5. King moves to g7. Now you heard me say that we're keeping this king trapped in this corner, which is exactly what we want. We're going to force the king over into h8 squared. That's our goal. In order to keep him in this general area, we really want our king over on h6, guarding the g7 and h7 squares. So the king is forced to stay in this area. So let's go ahead and start bringing that king up. King f2, king f7. He's not going anywhere, so let's keep bringing that king up. King g3, king g7, king h4, king f7. He's trying to stay away from that back rank, which is why he keeps making the repetitive moves. He's not going anywhere, so let's just bring that king up a little bit further. King h5, king g7 again. He knows where we're going, so he's trying to defend that h6 square. How can we restrict him a little further? By moving our bishop to g6. Now we notice that he is forced to the back rank. He has three replies. King moves g8. Now we can get that h6 square that we want for our king. The g7 and h7 squares are now guarded by our king, and we can commence driving the king onto the h8 square. Enemy king moved to f8. Let's look at our bishops. We notice that he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He has one reply. So let's make a passive move or a quiet move. Bishop h5 is probably the best move we can make right now, and I'll explain why here in just a moment. King g8. Now before I make that reply, let's take a look again at our bishops. The king only has two replies as of right now. He can go h8 or he can go f8. So how can we restrict that? Bishop e7 takes away the f8 square, forcing the king into the corner. Now, we notice that the king only has one reply on the next move. How can we take advantage of that? Well, let's look at the diagonal that's sitting on. It's not hard to imagine that if our bishop was on the g4 square, that when he made that reply, we could bring it up to e6, giving check, forcing him back into the corner. So let's do that. g4. The move is forced. g8. Let's bring it up and check, just like we talked about. e6, giving check. The move is forced. h8. The king is guarding those two squares, like we talked about. Our light squared bishop is covering the g8 square. The king has no reply. If we bring the bishop to f6, it delivers mate. Any other move results in stalemate. So let's do that.
Okay, checkmate.
While this checkmate is simple, it is more difficult than some of the others. You may want to practice this several times. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will upload more